Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm at Apex 2014 in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm joined by Jim Hall from ITM Consulting. Jim, thanks for stopping by.
Well, thank you for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be here.
You've been teaching and talking about lean manufacturing. We hear lots about lean all over the world, and sometimes it's difficult to see who's talking the talk and who's walking the walk. What's your snapshot on what's really going on?
A lot of people talk the talk. Our job is to try to help people walk the walk.
Okay.
Because I think to really reap the benefits, it has to become a part of your manufacturing or assembly culture, not just a theoretical idea. And we try to help people do that. We've come up with our own Greenbelt program specifically designed for the electronics industry, electronics assembly industry.
Yeah.
And where all the examples, and we work typically in-house with people so it can make it very real for them, and rather than on a theoretical basis for the lean training. But the key that we've seen, and we've seen for many, many years, is poor utilization of all this wonderful, fancy, fast equipment that sits around a lot of the time and doesn't do much for it. It doesn't make money, doesn't produce product that ultimately makes money. And giving people, the lean gives you that perspective of the idea of waste and time, lead time, moving things quickly, that helps you put numbers on this loss of capacity that you have when you spend a lot of time setting up a machine, changing over, or you don't maintain your machines and they break down. And you have to, or you don't manage your supply, your material supply, and you're constantly stopping to replace components and go looking for new materials. And everybody sort of knows that, but lean gives you a structure and metrics,
as well.
and metrics to put numbers on it, because you really have to bring it down to how much it's costing you, or the opportunity to make more, more money. And Lean Six Sigma, we teach the whole thing, gives you the tools and the discipline and a structure to do that. And with a simple concept of waste, which everybody can understand. And because to really make, as I said, it has to be part of your culture, you have to get everybody involved, from your operators right up to the CEO and your suppliers and everything else. And we think that lean, the concept of waste, and applying it specifically to the things we see every day in electronic manufacturing, gives people the best chance to embrace this, to make it part of what they do, and to do things better. And particularly for us here in North America, we're trying to recapture some of our electronic manufacturing, which we've lost.
So that was what I was going to ask you. Do you see it as something that you can focus into a higher cost environment to make it more economic, more competitive on a global scale?
Absolutely, because I mean, where are the costs? So much of it is in your certainly materials, but then from an assembly standpoint, all this wonderful equipment that's really nice, but it's not inexpensive. And to keep that running at a higher utilization rate just adds to your capability and makes you more competitive. And surface mount, which is most of electronic assembly, is really not labor intensive. So it comes down to how effectively do you utilize your equipment.
How can you utilize that? How can you manage stuff? A lot of the Lean Six Sigma initiatives came out of the automotive industry, particularly the automotive industry in Japan. Do you think there's a region that, if we take away the automotive thing, if we look at EMS, for example, do you think there's a region that's particularly leading the way in terms of the way it's managing its lean opportunities? Or do you think it's pretty...
We've seen it. I've seen it in both small and medium-sized EMSs and in some of the larger ones. Obviously, when a large company embraces it effectively, it's pretty impressive because they have the resources to do it. But on the other hand, there's some award-winning smaller contract assemblers that have really embraced it and been very successful utilizing it. So it's, I would say...
Are they doing an equally good job, for example, in Europe, US, Asia, or is there a different levels of commitment to it?
I don't perceive, in my experience, a difference regionally. I guess if you think of the Far East where labor is cheap, there's less motivation.
motivation in different areas, I
here,
guess.
I mean, I plead a lot of ignorance with Europe because I don't spend a lot of time over there.
Yeah.
But it's certainly in the U.S.
Yeah.
and in North America, there are tremendous opportunities.
Yeah.
And yet there are some companies that have embraced it and have been successful.
And have been successful.
And
so
we're trying to preach the gospel and give people the tools and the training and to take advantage of it.
Yeah. And if you're doing that on a, they can obviously come and take part in some kind of training program, but do you do it on a consultative basis as well?
Absolutely.
Can they basically say, come in, lean us out,
Yes.
show us how to do it?
That's, we do not try to, we say we will train you and help you to do it. Because, and that's, I think, where a lot of people have failed.
Right.
They bring in an outside, we'll do it for you, and it has to become part of the way you think.
Yeah.
And you really have to be led and you coached. We like the term coaching.
Yeah.
You do a certain amount of training, then you coach the people to do it themselves, and you get the people involved. Because everybody's unique.
Yeah.
We're all starting with our own management and cultural structure within our enterprise. And so the way you do it is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
We supply the general information and then this coaching to do it. And specifically for electronics, we try to do it strictly in-house.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
and is it fair to say that it's not just about leaning out the SMT line, it's all about leaning out the whole supply chain, the whole business?
And your management structure.
Yeah.
We just did a program with Charlie Barnhart Association, which we're looking at the economics, and we applied lean principles to outsourcing.
Yeah.
And found some of the problems that are being experienced today were because they ignored some of the basic principles of the waste, the 7 mudas, to use the Japanese term. And if you analyze them historically, you had applied these simple basic principles of waste to your management patterns, you could have probably been more successful.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Yes, you're right. And you identified the normal path. You start with your manufacturing. You really quickly learn you've got to lean up your supply because if your supply can't support it. But you also have to work with your customers because very often you run into design issues. Yeah. If things aren't designed right, it limits your ability to lean them out, so to speak. But you really need to make it part of your whole system. Your management structure, your rewards and benefits program has to support, because things will change. When you implement lean, you're going to change the way you do things. And it has to be a total enterprise.
Approach. Yeah, it has to become part of your whole DNA. And if people want to access your training, access your information, would they just look for ITM Consulting online?
On the web, itmconsulting.com.
Okay, well Jim, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. It's great talking to you.